Welcome to the Wellbeing Podcast, where every episode is a step toward a healthier, happier you. Let's grow, thrive, and shine together. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something I think you're going to be really interested in, how journaling can boost both your emotional health and your productivity. And we're going to look at how daily planning fits into that puzzle, too.
Yeah, it's fascinating how just putting pen to paper, those simple practices, can have such a big impact. And the research is really compelling.
Isn't it amazing? One study that really stood out to me was by Dr. Gail Matthews. She found that people who wrote down their goals were 42% more likely to achieve them. 42%, that's huge. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think writing something down forces you to clarify it in your mind. It goes from being a fleeting thought to being more concrete, more of a commitment. And then once it's on paper, it's like a visual reminder, almost like a contract with yourself.
That's interesting because I know a lot of people think journaling is just about venting or just processing emotions. Are you saying it can actually help you be more productive too?
Absolutely. And the emotional benefits are really tied into productivity. When you journal, you're creating a space for self-reflection, processing your emotions. You can identify patterns in your thinking and develop a better understanding of your triggers and reactions. And that all feeds into something called emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence.
Mm.
That sounds important. What does that mean, like practically speaking?
Well, it means being aware of your own emotions and how they affect your behavior. It's also about being able to manage those emotions effectively so they don't control you. And a big part of it is empathy, understanding and responding to the emotions of others.
So journaling can help us develop all of those skills. I can see how that would be a huge benefit, not just in our personal lives, but our work and relationships too.
Exactly. It's about becoming more self-aware, more resilient, and better equipped to handle challenges.
And that in turn can boost your productivity.
Exactly. When you're less stressed and more in control of your emotions, you can focus better, make better decisions, and achieve your goals more effectively.
That makes a lot of sense. What about the research on expressive writing as a therapeutic tool? What have they found there?
Well, the American Psychological Association has done a lot of research on this. They found that expressive writing, where you just write freely about your thoughts and feelings, can really significantly reduce stress, anxiety, even symptoms of depression. It's like giving those emotions a safe outlet.
So it's not about suppressing or ignoring those negative feelings. It's about acknowledging them, processing them, and then moving forward.
Yeah, it's about understanding those feelings and their root causes. And journaling gives you the space and structure to do that.
So you're saying journaling can help us unpack our emotions in a way that's good for us.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the emotional benefits of journaling and how those benefits can actually make us more productive. But what about planning? Where does that fit in?
Well, planning is all about taking those insights you gain from journaling and putting them into action. It's about creating structure and intentionality in your day so you can move toward your goals.
So it's not just about to-do lists. It's more about creating a roadmap for your day, for your life, based on what you've learned about yourself through journaling.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's about aligning your actions with your values and priorities.
I've heard a lot about incorporating like a top 3 goals strategy into daily planning.
Yeah,
Can you tell me more about that?
sure. The idea is to identify the 3 most important things you want to accomplish each day and focus your energy on those. It helps you avoid getting bogged down in less important tasks and make sure you're making progress on what truly matters.
That sounds like a really good way to stay focused and productive. It's
Yeah,
like giving yourself permission to say no to things that aren't aligned with those top priorities.
exactly. And it helps you feel less overwhelmed because you're not trying to do everything at once.
So we've got journaling for emotional well-being and self-discovery, and then we've got planning for turning those insights into action. I think what's really fascinating to me is that there's all this research backing up these seemingly simple practices.
There really is. We already talked about Dr. Matthews' study on goal setting, but there's also research from Harvard Business Review showing that just 15 minutes of reflection at the end of the day can lead to a 22% improvement in work performance. And the University of Chicago has done research on the efficiency gains of using planners, which are quite significant.
Wow, 15 minutes of reflection for a 22% boost. What were they reflecting on in that study?
Well, they were reflecting on what they learned during the workday, what went well, what could be improved, and how they could apply those lessons moving forward. It's about taking a step back to analyze your experiences and get those valuable insights.
So it sounds like both journaling and planning are about being more intentional with our time and energy.
Exactly. It's about moving away from that reactive autopilot mode of living and towards a more proactive and mindful approach.
Speaking of tangible tools to help you on this journey, we actually have something pretty special to share with you.
We do. We've been working on something that ties into everything we've been talking about.
I'd like to introduce you to our 2025 planner.
Yeah,
This planner isn't just about scheduling appointments. It's designed to incorporate those principles of journaling and reflection we've been discussing.
that's right.
It has dedicated spaces for daily, monthly, and yearly reflections, so you can track your progress, celebrate your wins, and identify areas for growth.
Right. And remember that top 3 goal strategy we mentioned? Well, the 2025 planner has a section for that too, so you can stay focused on your most important priorities.
And for those of you who really thrive on structure, it also features a time boxing system to help you allocate your time effectively.
Exactly.
It's truly a roadmap to a more intentional and fulfilling life.
It is.
We put our hearts and minds into creating this tool that can really help you achieve your goals
Yeah.
and live a life that aligns with your values. We're going to continue our deep dive into the 2025 planner and how to use it effectively in our next segment. But before we do, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What are your initial impressions of the research we've discussed? What resonates with you most?
And what questions do you have about journaling planning or the 2025 planner?
We're excited to hear your perspectives and continue this conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to hear your thoughts and questions. Let's dive a bit deeper into the practical applications of these concepts. So think about some real-world scenarios where journaling and planning can really make a difference.
Okay, yeah. Give me an example. Like, how could someone use these techniques to really see a change in their life?
Okay, well, imagine you're a writer and you're struggling with writer's block. Journaling can help unlock those creative juices. It allows you to free write and explore your thoughts without judgment. And often you'll uncover some hidden inspiration.
That makes sense. I heard that even just writing down whatever comes to mind can be helpful, even if it's just a stream of consciousness.
Exactly. And on the other hand, let's say you're a busy professional feeling overwhelmed by your workload. A daily planner can be your saving grace. It helps you prioritize tasks, schedule appointments, stay on top of deadlines, so you feel more in control.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Sometimes my to-do list feels a mile long,
Right.
so a planner could help me create some structure.
It's all about creating that structure and intentionality in your day. And those small acts of planning and reflecting can have a ripple effect throughout your entire life.
It's amazing to me how something as simple as writing in a notebook can be so powerful. But it's not magic, is it? What does it really take to make these practices work?
You're right, it's not magic. It takes consistency, effort, a genuine desire to improve. And it's also about finding the tools and methods that work best for you. Some people prefer pen and paper, others might prefer digital apps.
So it's about finding a system that you'll actually stick with, something that feels good and fits your lifestyle.
Exactly. The key is to find something you'll use consistently, because consistency is key.
I want to go back to something we talked about earlier, the science behind all of this. Can you go a little deeper into some of the research that supports these benefits?
Sure. So we talked about Dr. Gail Matthews' research, which found that people who wrote down their goals were 42% more likely to achieve them. But her study also looked at the role of accountability. Participants who not only wrote down their goals, but also shared them with a friend and sent weekly progress reports were even more successful.
So it's not just about writing things down. It's also about having some accountability. That's interesting. What about the research on expressive writing?
Well, there's a lot of research on expressive writing. One study by James Pennebaker found that participants who wrote about traumatic experiences for just 15 minutes a day for 4 days saw significant improvements in their physical and mental health. They had fewer doctor's visits, improved immune function, and even reported feeling happier.
Wow, that's incredible. We've talked about the emotional benefits, but it's amazing to hear that there could be physical health benefits as well.
Yeah.
What do you think is the connection there?
Researchers believe that writing about these experiences helps people process them and integrate them into their life narrative. It's not about forgetting or denying the past, but about understanding it moving forward. And this process can reduce stress and its impact on the body.
Okay, that makes sense. And the Harvard Business Review study on reflection.
Yeah.
Can you talk more about how they measured that 22% improvement in performance? What specific outcomes were they looking at?
They measured performance based on a variety of factors, including task completion, problem-solving abilities, and overall work quality. They found that the reflection group not only performed better, but also reported feeling more engaged in their work. and more satisfied with their performance.
So it's not just about getting more done. It's about the quality of work and feeling fulfilled by it. That's really interesting.
It is, and it highlights how these simple practices can impact so many areas of our lives.
So we have anecdotal evidence, scientific research, real-life examples. It's clear that journaling and planning can really transform our lives.
Absolutely, and that's why we're so passionate about sharing these tools and techniques, because everyone deserves to experience the benefits of a more intentional and fulfilling life.
And speaking of tools, let's talk more about the 2025 planner that you mentioned earlier. You said it's designed to incorporate these principles. How exactly does it do that?
Well, the 2025 planner is more than just a calendar or a to-do list. It's a system for planning, reflecting, and achieving your goals. It has dedicated spaces for daily, monthly, and yearly reflections.
That's awesome. I love that it goes beyond just scheduling and to-dos
Yeah.
and includes those deeper levels of reflection. Can you give me some specific examples?
Sure. At the start of each week, there's a space to set your intentions and identify your top 3 goals for the week. And then at the end of each day, there's a guided reflection section where you can jot down thoughts and feelings, review your accomplishments, and identify any challenges or lessons learned.
I can see how that would be really helpful for staying on track.
Yeah.
It's like a built-in accountability partner.
Yeah. Exactly. And there are also monthly and yearly review sections where you can look at your progress, celebrate achievements, and set new goals.
I love that it encourages you to look back and see how far you've come. What about the top 3 goals strategy? How is that incorporated?
Well, each day has a dedicated section for identifying your top 3 goals. It's a visual reminder to stay focused and prioritize those tasks.
That sounds really helpful. And for people who like structure, you mentioned, it also includes a time boxing system. Can you explain how that works?
Sure. Time boxing is a technique where you allocate specific blocks of time for different tasks. The planner provides a framework for this, so you can schedule your day in a way that maximizes focus and productivity.
Okay, so it's like giving each task its own designated space.
Exactly. And it can help you see where you might be spending too much time and make adjustments to improve your time management.
This sounds like a really well thought out system.
Thank you.
You've clearly put a lot of work into this planner.
We have. We believe in the power of these practices, and we wanted to create a tool that makes them accessible.
It's fantastic that you're giving people a tangible resource to help them implement these ideas. Before we move on, are there any other key features you want to highlight?
Well, we also included some features that promote self-care and well-being.
Oh, that's cool. Like what?
So the planner includes a section for tracking your sleep exercise and water intake. It's just a gentle reminder to take care of your physical health as well.
I like that. It's so easy to forget about that stuff when you're busy.
Exactly. And there's also a gratitude log where you can write down things you're grateful for each day. Cultivating gratitude is so powerful for happiness and well-being.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to focus on the positive.
Absolutely. And finally, the planner is beautifully designed with high-quality materials. We wanted to create something that feels good to use, something you'll be proud to carry with you.
It sounds like you thought of everything.
We tried our best.
So where can people find the 2025 planner?
You can find a link in the episode description.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It could be just what you need.
It might be.
So even if you don't use our planner, the key takeaway here is that journaling and planning are so important for anyone who wants to live a more intentional life.
Yeah, they can really help you reduce stress, improve your emotional well-being, boost your productivity, and achieve your goals.
And the best part is they're accessible to everyone.
Right, you don't need any special skills or equipment.
That's a pen and paper.
Or a digital device if you prefer.
And a commitment to the process.
Exactly.
So make a commitment to yourself today to start incorporating these habits. You won't regret it.
And remember, we're here to support you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into journaling and planning.
It's been great exploring these topics with you.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and feel inspired to try these habits out for yourself.
Remember, journaling and planning aren't just about productivity. They're about creating a more fulfilling life.
Yeah, it's about taking control of your days, your emotions, ultimately your destiny.
We encourage you to start small, find what works for you, and be consistent.
Those small efforts will add up over time.
You'll see.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
We're here with you.
Thanks for listening to the Wellbeing Podcast.
Yeah.
Take care, stay inspired, and see you next time.